America leads the world in medicine development. It matters. We get new medicines first, nearly 3 years faster. 5 million Americans go to work because we make medicines here at home. And not relying on other countries keeps us safe. But China is racing to overtake us. Will we let them, or will we choose to stay ahead? When America leads, America cures. Let's tell Washington to keep us in the lead.
Learn how at americacures.com. Paid for by pharma.
Hello and welcome to the Paddock and the Pavilion with me, your host, Stephen Wallis. After only 11 days of cricket, Australia retained the Ashes with victory in the third test in Adelaide. And to look back at the action, a variety of guests have joined me in the Ashes, the final say. 3 former test cricketers, 2 current internationals, journalists, authors and a radio presenter spread across 5 parts give us their reaction to Australia's 4-1 series victory. Opening up our final episode of The Ashes, the final say, it's the turn of Leena Moin Aziz, Asia's first female cricket commentator. Hello, Leena. Great to speak to you again about the Ashes. You went for 3-2 England, and you said in Who Will Win the Men's Ashes Part 3 that you couldn't wait for the action to start.
Absolutely. I mean, I said 3-2 because I truly believe that the English team can do it. But I also gave you reasons why I think that. I thought they had a good bowling attack, and they had some good batting in Root, Harry Brooks, Stokes. I didn't know. I'm not Nostradamus, so I didn't know that the English team is going to drop like 18, 20 catches, or that Jamie Smith was going to drop head in the second test match. And had that catch been taken, England could have come back in the series, and it would have been a different ball game. Dropping catches and not reading the situation. That doesn't work. I wasn't thinking about all that. I thought they were going to be better prepared for the Ashes, the English team, and not drop so many catches. I was thinking they won't field as well as the Australians do, for sure. I was thinking that. But I wasn't thinking like 18, 20 catches to be dropped in the whole series. And that one particular catch of Travis Head that Jamie Smith dropped, and it was an easy catch. That, I think, set the tone for the whole series, Stefan. And I did say that the tone is very important. Whoever, if you remember, I did say that winning one of the first 2 test matches would be imperative, and whoever does that will set the tone for the series. And I was hoping England would do that, but I wasn't counting on easy catches being dropped. Brooks, being totally senseless when batting, throwing away his wicket, or the lower order not contributing, or Stokes' captaincy being ordinary. I wasn't counting on all that, and that was shocking for me, because I knew it's going to be a difficult series, but not this difficult and so many mistakes. I wasn't counting on that, and just not reading the situation in test matches is criminal.
Yeah, I must defend you here because I've written some notes down, and in our previous chat you said that England needed to get a good start. They didn't do that. You were worried about Travis Head, and he got 629 runs, 3 centuries, and you also said quite pertinently that England needed to bat sensibly according to the situation.
And yes, I'm so happy I said all that, because whatever it is, I would have been happier had England won the series. But somewhere, as an analyst, if you said some things and they did turn out to be true, you do feel happy about the kind of work you put in your journey as a cricket analyst. So I knew those things were important. Head was going to be mighty important. Dropping catches wasn't this something I was thinking a lot about, and also reading the situation was really big in my head. I really hope that England, I mean, baseball is one thing, but I hope that they would play aggressive cricket, but read the situations well. I feel like if you're four down for 125, you just sort of buckle down, play a good innings of 50, 60, get your team to say 230, 40, and, get a partnership going, and from there you attack. But you don't, when you're 120 for 4 and you made a good 20-25, you don't play a reverse sweep or terrible shot to get out, which is what almost all the English players did. So, yeah, I mean, I'm proud of what I said, but I'm not happy. The result, I would have been much happier if, I looked back and England won the series. I would have been really happy.
There were, well, very few bright spots for England, but Joe Root did get his first century down under and scored 400 runs in the series.
But see, those four, I'm happy for him because he's one of my favorite players, but none of those runs had any impact. Runs have to have an impact. You get a 60-70, but that 60-70 should have an impact. I mean, it's not Joe Root's fault that he scored that 100, but I mean, the end result shows that the runs didn't have an impact because the other players didn't back him up in those two matches where he got runs and lots of runs. So, had someone else, gotten a 60-70 there, I mean, then that 100 would have had great impact. And the matches, a few matches were close, you can't say they were one-sided, but, just coming down to dropping catches and not reading situations and the captain being out of form. And also the captain, I mean, I would want to say that the captain, his field placing wasn't up to the mark or up to scratch. So I was like totally disappointed. But coming back to Joe Root, yeah, happy that he got those runs. But I really hope that those runs would have had a greater impact.
Overall, was the series a disappointment to you? What did you think to the overall standard?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, test matches finishing in 2 days, that was a huge disappointment for me. I was thinking about, people who have bought their tickets. I mean, you were there. So I was thinking about people who wanted to at least watch 4 days of test cricket and not 2. So, and the pitches, I mean, that particular pitch, I mean, in Melbourne, I don't know what, I've never seen a pitch like that in Melbourne. I've seen like high scoring matches going up to 4th day at least. But yeah, I mean, I think the curator made some judgment calls which weren't correct, and he will probably get a chance to rectify his mistakes. But as far as the Ashes is concerned, it was a huge disappointment, particularly those 2 test matches that finished early. And of course, the English performance we've discussed in detail, the captaincy, the terrible shots, not reading the situation well, dropping critical catches, that of Travis Head in particular, and many other catches, 18 catches, I believe, in total, if I'm not wrong. But there were some bright spots. Bethel, I thought, played really well. That innings was superior. He played right under his eyes. Some of the shot making was beautiful. His temperament, especially when his family was sitting there, he didn't get nervous. He took his time in the end to get that 100. So, yeah, that's a bright spot. And for Australia, many bright spots, because I feel minus Hazelwood and Cummins, Stark, at age 36, took the responsibility of being the leader of the attack and I think took 28 wickets and really dominated the series. Head played so well. Smith stepped in. Everyone. And before I forget, I think one of the main reasons that Australia won was because of the bravery of Alex Carey. The fact that he was able to stand up to Boland and Nesser, 130 odd, Ks an hour, that was tremendous, and his batting. So I think, and I'm someone who believes that, if your wicketkeeper plays well, holds his catches, the wicketkeeper is actually the bowling side's mother, the bowler's mother. If the mother lets you down by dropping catches, then of course the bowlers are going to lose heart. So this is where I feel that Alex Carey versus Jamie Smith, I think Australia won the series because because Alex Carey was absolutely tremendous, top notch.
Coming back to the 2-day test matches, 2 of them, we only had 18 days out of 25. 2 days in a test match can't be good for test cricket, can it?
Absolutely not. The broadcasters are not happy. The fans are not happy. People who are sit on their couches and want to be there for 5 days with all the nice snacks and all ready for those 5 days, canceling their social engagements, can't be happy for anyone. I mean, I don't see who's a winner in this situation. Not even the team who wins the test match. They're not even winners because, it's just terrible for advert for the game, especially for test match cricket. And I think that will be corrected in Australia because I do believe, Australia are not my favorites, but I do believe one thing that they're hard taskmasters, so they will take notice of that and correct it. I mean, look at the way their team was so well prepared for the Ashes. So they will correct this also, the 2-day scenario, which was absolutely rubbish, as Jeffrey Bycott would say, rubbish. So yeah, that, and so I hope that just improves and we have at least 4 or 5 days, yes, but at least 4 days in a test match.
Before we talk about the future for England on and off the field, what was the reaction in Pakistan?
Well, lots of people in Pakistan tend to, love the English cricket team. And in an Ashes series, they always back England, support England. I mean, from the Ian Botham days or maybe days before that, we have been supporters of English cricket because if Pakistan's not playing against England, then we always support England against whichever team they're playing. So yeah, there was disappointment. There was a lot of analysis. I myself I must have been on TV at least dozen times to analyze the Ashes. So yeah, I mean, everyone talked about how disappointed they were. They wanted to see more needle in the test matches, more fight and courage, character. And I think there was none of that. No courage, no character, no fight. So yeah, I mean, hugely disappointed. But yeah, we did also. I mean, I see a few bright spots. I do see. I thought Jofra Archer bowled really well. In patches, I thought the other fast bowlers bowled well. Bethel is a bright spot. And Crawley, I thought, did well. He could have gone on and gotten hundreds, but he did better than the other players. And some of the things that they got to rectify is, a talented player like Brooks has to look at how terribly he batted and his choices while batting. The choices he made. And Duckett, who's so talented and made runs. So, yeah, but it's a mixed bag.
So, talking then about on the field, do you think England need to make changes in the test side ahead of the summer?
Absolutely. I think there has to be, I believe they need to have a new coach. I believe McCullum has been very smug about this whole baseball scenario. I mean, it's not like, I said it before also, it's not like they've qualified to play the World Test Championship final because of baseball. It's not, the results might have improved after Joe Root was, the captaincy was taken away from him under Stokes and McCullum. But they've lost some very crucial series, one in Pakistan also against the spinners. And then, of course, they haven't qualified for the World Test Championship and then this Ashes. So they haven't won anything which is you can sort of put your finger and say, okay, we won this final. We won this test championship or this really, really big series. So I would like someone else to take over from McCullum. But the philosophy, I don't want England to go back to that philosophy when they were playing like 2.5 runs per over. I would want them to play aggressively, but I would want them to read situations better. If, Australia don't follow baseball or anything, and they were playing like 4.5 runs and over. And they were still sensible. They would know when, if they lost a few wickets, they would just, sort of play the next 15, 20 overs quietly, take single doubles. And then once that period's gone, one session's gone, they would, not lose a wicket, stitch a partnership, and then go on from there. So I would want England to do that, get a new coach. Stokes needs to look at his captaincy during the Ashes. I feel he was not up to the mark. Not as, his field placings in particular, I wasn't too happy about the aggression in the field placing. I didn't see that. I thought he was pretty mundane. So maybe he needs to look at that and get the old Stokes back for us. But definitely I want a new coach though. And some changes in the batting. I mean, Pope has to go. We all know that he has to go back to the county cricket, and if he does well there, then he can come back. So the batting order has to be looked into. The choices have to be looked into. Someone has to talk to players about the choices they make in the middle. And these things have to be definitely looked into. And from there, if these things are done, I can see an improvement coming.
Before we go, the other thing not too far on the horizon is a Pakistan Test tour of England. The first test starts on the 19th of August at Headingley, followed by tests at Lords and Edgbaston. What are your hopes? I know it's 6-7 months away for that tour of England.
Well, we don't have a test captain as of now. First of all, I feel Pakistan has to announce a new test captain because I don't think so. Shan Masood, as I hear from the grapevine, he's not going to be the captain anymore. So we need a new captain, and we have to see who that is. And then traditionally, Pakistan have played well in England, under Imran Khan, under Azhar Ali, under various captains, Javed Miadad, Wasim Akram. We've played well in England. So I think, once again, I feel the slip catching is very important in England because the ball is going to move. If we select the right attack and hold our catches, we might give England a tough time. So, yeah, I'm quietly confident that Pakistan will, inshallah, do well in England. But the selection and the leadership has to be absolutely spot on.
Because it's quite a while since you've played a test series in England. Pakistan were, like the West Indies, the two countries that, as I often say, saved the ECB because they were here during the COVID year of 2020, which should never be forgotten.
Absolutely. The cricket-wise, there's great camaraderie between England and Pakistan, and of course the West Indies also, So, I think cricket is all about bailing each other out when the times are difficult. All the countries should bail each other out. There should be camaraderie, friendship, and the sport is, it belongs to all of us. So I feel the right spirit to play the sport is to come and help each other. And so therefore I see a very competitive series, and I hope we can actually win it and not just draw it, which we have been doing quite a bit. But then, honestly, Stefan, I feel drawing a series in England on those pitches which move a lot, it's difficult for our batsmen. We're not used to playing those balls which are moving away and coming in. But there's no Anderson or Broad now. So I think this is a good opportunity for us to win, not just draw. Although the previous series, like the last 15, 20 years, when we drawn, whenever we've drawn in England, I've always considered it to be like a win.
And hopefully you will be there in the summer.
Hopefully. I'll be applying for the visa soon.
Well, thank you very much for being back on the Paddock and the Pavilion. Hopefully I'll catch you in the summer.
Absolutely. My pleasure being on your show, Stefan, always.
My next guest is the England over-70s World Cup winning and Silver Ashes captain, John Evans. Thanks for joining me, John.
No problem, Stephen.
You have an advantage over all the other guests in this Ashes roundup. I never got your prediction before the series started, so you can say anything now.
I'd have been wrong.
Were you confident, were you?
I thought we had a good chance. I really did. That's why I find it quite disappointing, really. I think most of us thought that, we have the talent in the squad to give a good go for it. And no Josh Hazlewood, Pat Cummins wasn't there all the time. Later we didn't know this beforehand, but Nathan Lyons got injured. But, the guys they brought in were still too good for us. And that was disappointing, I thought. I'm sure the England squad will regret, what's happened, and because they had chances. But there you go.
Did you watch quite a lot on TV?
Um, I watched some of it. Every time I watched, it didn't do very well, so I tended to sort of catch up early in the following morning rather than sort of watch it. In fact, we were on a trip with some friends from the last Ashes tour over 70s, and I woke in the middle of the night and I saw that I saw Stark get that wonderful caught and bowled off Crawley, who were one-handed to his left. Oh, blimey, I'm not gonna stay and watch that. And then I woke again about an hour, so that must have been a couple of hours later, and we were 100 ahead with only one wicket down. And I went to sleep quite happily then and got up for breakfast and walked into breakfast. And the bloke said, "Have you seen the Ashes?" We'd already lost. It was unbelievable. So, my watching was a bit sporadic because I don't think I was a good omen.
Well, it was even worse, I can promise you, when you were actually there watching it like I was.
Oh, blimey, yeah. Well, I mean, at least you saw some cricket. I had a couple of friends who went out for the third and fourth day of the first test and saw nothing. A couple of Gloucestershire seniors, they went all the way out there, and I think they ended up watching the Lions somewhere.
So what, in your opinion, went wrong for England? What didn't go wrong?
I, I just, I don't want to sound like the same as a lot of people are saying, but I don't think they're reading the situation well. I think there are times when you can be as attack-minded as they obviously clearly want to be. But there's other times where you've got to dig deep, and that was the difference between the two teams for me. The Aussies had players that dig deep, and I think they bowled more consistently well over the time than our guys as well. And we can't seem to keep our bowlers fit, and that's a big issue, I think.
As an opener, though, you must have been disappointed with Crawley and Duckett as a partnership.
Yeah, I mean, but not just that, because Stark was special, wasn't he? And let's face it. I mean, I thought he was the difference, or one of the main differences between the two sides, and he bowled thoroughly well. But again, they'll probably look back with a real disappointment over their commitment. I mean, they haven't done badly the last couple of years, have they? But in this series, it just didn't happen.
And putting your captaincy hat on, I don't think you'd have ended the pressure that Ben Stokes was on during the series.
No, it must be really difficult for him because he wears his heart on his sleeve, and I thoroughly respect him as a bloke and as a captain. He's done great things, hasn't he? But it's difficult when you're struggling for form yourself as well, and obviously his form with the bat would have been disappointing for him, and that makes it a lot more difficult when you're captaining the side as well. But there must have been times where he thought, "Oh, we got a real chance here," and then it just didn't happen, and the Aussies came through.
So, what sort of mark out of 10 would you give England for the series?
Oh, only about 5, I'm afraid.
There's been a lot made of changes. Do you think there should be changes on and off the field for England?
I think it probably should. I don't think our system. I don't think our system of first-class cricket is giving us the best opportunity for getting good players to play there. And I certainly, I can't imagine that one warm-up game in New Zealand in white ball was clearly wasn't good enough for getting ready for a test match in Australia. So they need to sort of think about that, really.
And final question, 2027, can England win the Ashes earned back on home soil?
Yes, if they get selection right and they possibly have a slightly different approach at different stages in the game. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Test cricket has needed the boost that England have given in terms of the way they attacked it and chased big scores down, which previously would have been unheard of. But it's been proved in Australia that there were times where they probably did need to rein it in and dig deep and bat some time and get the Australian bowlers tired. So hopefully that'll happen. I mean, the one bright light was young Bethel's first. But I mean, that's interesting, isn't it? That's his first class professional 100, and yet there he is playing in the Ashes. And so you have to think, well, maybe our system isn't sort of producing enough players of that quality at the moment.
He should certainly be part of that 2027 side, shouldn't he?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I mean, he just looks class, doesn't he? I mean, the only concern is that he hasn't done it in first innings yet. I mean, most of his good scores have come in the second innings, but even so, that's, is he 22? That's encouraging, and, he did look class in that innings, definitely.
So some hope then for 2027.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's always, in our conditions, we are better. The bowling's a worry for me. They need to get our best bowlers fit and playing in 4 or 5 of the series test matches. It's no good, alternating the bowlers. And not many of the bowlers I thought really came out of this with great consistent credit. Josh Tong probably the only one, wasn't he?
Omaha Steaks semi-annual sale is here. Save 50% site-wide on legendary steaks, gourmet burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, and more. Plus, get an extra $35 off with promo code AUDIO at omahasteaks.com. Shop now to save 50% site-wide on steaks and more during Omaha Steaks semi-annual sale. Plus, get an extra $35 off with promo code AUDIO at checkout. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code AUDIO. Minimum purchase may apply. See site for details.
Returning to the show and the country after watching the Ashes, our next guest is children's author Jenni Douglass, author of Tess and Sabotage at the SCG and Tess and the Ashes Catastrophe. Welcome back, Jenni. Good to see you again.
Hi, Stephen. Thank you for having me.
It seems a long while since I saw you and the family and our mutual friend Walter at the day-night test in Brisbane.
Yeah, it's weeks ago, isn't it? But does feel like a lifetime. A lot's happened since then, hasn't it?
Oh, definitely. A lot's happened. And in part 3 of my series, you went for 3-1. I
did do 3-1 because Sydney always has a little bit of weather and you never know how much it's going to be. So that was my draw theory.
But you were confident that Australia were going to win, though, weren't you?
Yeah, I was confident. I always thought that England would win one test. Didn't think it would be in 2 days, but always thought that they would pull off one test. They're that kind of team that they can kind of snatch a victory with the way they play.
But you thought it would be competitive, like a lot of us.
Yeah, I did. And to be fair, there was a lot of times where it was competitive and the cricket could have gone either way. England just didn't kind of kick on and get over the line, did they? Or Australia put the pressure on, whichever way you want to look at it. But there were some days that were really good cricket, and then Australia just seemed to win.
But you were worried about the Australian batting.
Well, and I think there's still cause for concern, isn't there? There was the top order is still not concrete. And the bowlers, Mitch Starc was brilliant. One of my favourite days that I saw was when Mitch Starc got his 50. That was day 3 at the Gabba. Was that when we met with you, wasn't it? Yeah, he got his 50. And that just kind of shows that it's not always the top order who get the runs, but we needed some more top order runs, I think. Yeah,
I think at one time Mitchell Starc had got more runs than most of the England top order.
Yeah, he had. He was outstanding, wasn't he?
You did see, though, your favourite player, Steve Smith, get a century in Sydney.
Yeah, did see him get a century at his home ground, so that was quite nice amid all the boos, but we won't go into that. But I have to say one of my other favourite players is Alex Carey, and again, he had an outstanding series as well, didn't he? So it was brilliant to watch him play and keep up to the stumps to the Australian fast bowlers. He was brilliant.
Yeah, that standing up to the stumps made a lot of difference to Michael Neser and Scott Boland, didn't it?
It did. Just the skills to be able to do that is incredible. So, so Steve Smith got a few runs. Obviously, he didn't play all the test matches. And I was really lucky we saw Joe Root's, both of Joe Root's centuries, actually. So that was good. With lots of things to see and talk about.
But in general, how was your trip? As you said, you went to Brisbane, Melbourne and Sydney. You did see an England win. That's one thing.
Well, we did, and that was my daughter's birthday when they won, so that was a bit of a downer for her. Also, our wedding anniversary. So, but I mean, no one wants to see 2-day test matches, do they? Perth and Melbourne. And to be fair, either of those test matches could have gone either way. England were in the Perth test match for such a long time, and it was a Travis Head special, wasn't it? And day one of Melbourne was just the most chaotic day. But also, again, one of my highlights was seeing Scotty Boland come out and opening the bat, and just the atmosphere inside the G was incredible because Victorians love a Victorian, as we keep saying to the girls. So just to see him come out and open the bat and then block out 5 balls and get a 4 off the last was a highlight for sure.
Aside from the result in Melbourne, only 2 days, it must have been amazing to be in 2 crowds of over 90,000 for day one and day two.
Yeah, it is. You can't kind of describe that. There was a lot of English at the Melbourne and Sydney tests, I have to say. So it was, an even crowd. But one of the spine-tingling moments at the G is when everyone doffs their cap for Shane Warne. And the first day we were right up the back of the Shane Warne stand, so you can't see a lot of the whole ground. You can kind of see just out and down. And the second day we were halfway up in the Olympic stand, and just to be able to see people doing their caps was 95,000 people, whatever it was, doing that was spine tingling. Yeah. So I have to say, I've been to the MCG. Obviously, I'm a huge Australian rules football fan, and so I've been to the MCG quite a few times to watch football. And the other really special moment when you're there is on Anzac Day, and Collingwood, my favourite team, plays Essendon, and they do the bugle, the last post, and it's just dead silent. And then at the end of it, there's just this roar. And again, it's an incredible feeling just being inside that almost Colosseum and the noise that it generates.
You're one of those people that like Collingwood. No one likes Collingwood.
No one likes Collingwood. Well, no, a lot of people. I think they're a little bit like Man United. You either love them or hate them.
You also met one of my previous guests, Claire Cannon, Cricket Without Borders.
I did. Yeah, we met up at the MCG on day two. So Claire and I are from the same part of Australia, which is quite funny, quite coincidental. So I met up with her, and also Ken Jacobs from Cricket Without Borders, and a few other people. So yeah, it was good to catch up with her.
I'm not aware of any conspiracies during the series, though we did have Snicko, but how were Tess and Eddie received in Australia?
Yeah, they had good fun. We went to lots of different places. We went to the SCG, and that was amazing. It was really, really good going to the SCG and meeting all the tour guides and who have taken on my book and embraced it. And they sell it at the SCG as part of the tours. When you do a tour there, you go into the museum and they have a lot of things on sale, so you can buy my book there as well. And they've really embraced it. So it's felt quite special actually. And we had a little private tour with a couple of the tour guides, so we got to ask them lots of questions. And that it was a really special moment to take them there.
Yeah, the tours are really good. I did the tour at the Adelaide Oval, and that was an amazing tour.
Yeah, I've not been to Adelaide Oval, so that's definitely on the list for next time. Maybe not next time, but soon. One of the tours we'll do all 5.
Yeah, that was an 1.5-hour tour, and there's also the Bradman Museum there. It's a fantastic tour.
Yeah, have you been to Bowral and seen the Bradman Museum there?
I have been to Bowral, yes, actually. Yeah. I saw an England 11 play an Australia 11 there back in 1999. So I have got a Bowral tie as well, which
nice. Yeah,
not many people can say they've been there and actually seen a game as well.
No, yeah, that's special.
Before we go, then I'd like to get a mark out of 10 then from you for England and Australia.
Yeah, so I think England, I'd probably give them a 6. I think there was like I said, there was times where they played some really good cricket, and there were some times they played some terrible cricket. But the same can be said for Australia. There was quite a lot of players who didn't perform their best for Australia as well. I think, Ben Stokes gave everything again. Joe Root obviously stand out. And I know he probably didn't bowl the best, but I thought Bryden Casters ran in every single day, played all 5 tests when all the other bowlers were falling apart around him. So, yeah, I think he's getting a lot of criticism for not bowling straight or the best, but he took a lot of wickets and I think he gave everything. So they're my 3 players. So probably 6. I know Crawley did okay, didn't he? Got a few runs. Brooke, lots to say about Harry Brooke, isn't there? But yeah, so 6 out of 10 for them. Australia would probably give them an 8. There's a bit of improvement that needs to be done with the top order batters, and they need to get that right going forward.
Going forward, then, can England win that urn back in 2027?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to depend on the leadership team or the leadership of the England cricket, doesn't it? If they stick with who they've got, then they'll probably keep the same 11-ish. Well, I would say it would probably be the same 11. But if there's a change at the top, then it will depend on the direction that they go. But I think if they stick with their current leadership group, then and they play the same 11, there's a good chance that they will win it back. Because Australia's got a little bit of fine tuning between now and next year. Gosh, it's next year, isn't it? Which is quite scary.
Yeah, it would be anybody's guess who the Australian 11 will be for the first test in 2027, wouldn't it?
It will be. There's a few people you can definitely pencil in, but yeah, I think Travis Head's probably cemented his place as an opener, but who will open with him? And then even number 3, Labuschagne, who knows? Steve Smith will probably come back. But yeah, you don't really know, do you?
I better let you get back to book number 3 for Tess and Eddie. How are you getting on with that?
Yeah, I haven't had time to start it yet since I've been back, but I've got lots of notes and things to do. I'm hoping to do is to get over to India at some stage in the next year, so I can just experience life in India. And so I'll get a draft prepared and then I'll go to India and then kind of just then edit in all the amazing sites and things that I see. So middle of next year is when I'm looking to have it published. So summer next year to coincide with cricket, which of course will be the Ashes, won't it, again? Yeah.
It will, yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to think of that, isn't it? It's such a build up to this Ashes, and then the next one now is only next year. It's still 18 months away, but it's next year, isn't it?
Well, thanks again for joining me on the Paddock and the Pavilion, and hopefully catch you up during the summer when we've got the Women's T20 World Cup.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you again for having me, Stephen.
To end the Ashes story on the final say, we have the master of suspense and intrigue, Felix Francis, best-selling horse racing thriller writer and keen cricket fan. Hello, Felix. Welcome back to the show. You said in Who Will Win the Ashes Part 3 that it might be close.
Yeah, I wish it had been a bit closer. It was closer in the last 2 test matches, and I think that says something about the preparation. But it wasn't as close as I thought. Well, we did win 4-1 overall, though, didn't we? I mean, we won 4-1. If you only count the toss, we won 4-1. So,
we're always good at toss. We're always good at the toss. We won 5-0 in the summer.
Yeah.
You no doubt watched a lot of it on television. What were your overall thoughts on the series?
Well, I think that what is with the Australians called Mitchell? I mean, we have Mitchell Stark was man of the match in 2 matches, and also he was man of the series for the Australians. And in the past, we've had Mitchell Johnson and Mitchell Marsh. I think that we ought to get at anyone called Mitchell, so that give us a bit of a head start. But I'm really interested to see how short the test matches were. I mean, I know the 5th test went to the last day, but 2-day test matches is an indication to me that I don't know that it wasn't really test match wickets, and I mean, it wasn't the case in Perth, which was over in 2 days, and Melbourne was over in 2 days. I know we won at Melbourne, but it wasn't really a test match wicket, I don't think.
A lot of people have said because of the Australian injuries that it was a series of missed opportunities for England.
Well, I think it probably was. And I'm not sure about the preparation, but I mean, in the old days, people used to play lots of matches ahead of time and be match fit for the first test. And I don't believe that England were. But I think the difference, I mean, it was good to see Root get a couple of centuries, but the difference probably was Mitchell Starc and Travis Head. I mean, Travis also scored 2 centuries in the series. I mean, you're always up against it in Australia with a Kookaburra ball. But I think that I think there was a missed opportunity, and I think there was too much noise around the outside of the England team. It worried me that they went so publicly to Noosa, and I've been to Noosa, and it's a wonderful place, but it's a bit too public. And I think that England weren't mentally right for it, which was a shame.
Did you get to stay up quite a lot to watch it?
I stayed up and watched some of it. I got up early, but I watched highlights and I recorded some of it to watch. It wasn't very good viewing, most of it, but I mean, the Melbourne Test, my son was meant to come over here and we were meant to spend all night up watching the cricket. In the end, he didn't come because of other reasons. But he did go to the Melbourne Test. He regrets he only went to the first day and not the second as well. But it was, I mean, I don't know how to really sum up the series. I feel that a lot of England players would like to go back and restart it when they got to the end. And you know, is Bazball good? I mean, Smith has had a lot of criticism for getting out. That's our Smith, not theirs. A couple of times with not very good shots or being run out. And I think some of them would probably like to go back and have another go. I'm not sure how many of them are going to be there in the future.
It wasn't much of a thriller, was it?
It wasn't really. I thought it might be close. But actually, to be honest, Australia outplayed us. I mean, I know we won at Melbourne, and that was great. So it wasn't 5-0, but the series had already gone by that stage, and Australia outplayed us on their home grounds. You know, they are very, very difficult to beat.
Before I ask you about the future, Complete Change Attack, how's the new book coming along?
The new book, I passed a third of the way through it today, and I've got until the 1st of April to complete it. I'm not sure who at my publishers thought that was funny, but I'm going away for 2 weeks writing on Saturday, so I hope to get another 15, 20,000 words under my belt by the time I get back, and all being good, it will be finished by the 1st of April. But at this time of the year, I'm always worried about what people will think about it. So, you know, writing is a very solitary experience when, I mean, at least on a podcast, you're talking to people, but I'm actually working with everything in my own head, and my wife says she loses me for months on end because I'm living in a parallel universe. Well, I just hope that it turns out to be all right in the end. I mean, this is my number 20 book. So, but you're only as good as your next book. Never mind what's happened in the past. So it's always a bit of a struggle around Christmas and New Year. I'm always spending sleepless nights worrying about it. And that's ongoing at the moment.
But reviews were good for Dark Horse.
Oh, Dark Horse was, the reviews were terrific. I am very proud of that book. I think it was a different sort of book for me in 2 parts with 2 first-person narrators. But I'm very proud of Dark Horse. A lot of people have said it was my best, and I'm not going to disagree with them on that. But as I said, you're only as good as your next. So I won't be in 6 months' time. I won't be judged on Dark Horse. I'll be being judged on the one I'm writing at the moment, which at the moment is called The Chase.
Good. Well, look forward to that. We've got several months before that comes out. What about the future for England's cricket team then? What do you think is going to happen there?
Well, I'm worried that there are going to be sort of wholesale chops and changes. I think there's a lot of strength in the England cricket team, certainly playing at home. I am concerned that I didn't think that they prepared properly. They didn't have enough cricket. They weren't in Australia long enough before the first test. I mean, with Cummings being out of the side, it almost felt like England thought that it was going to be easy. And it's never easy against Australia anywhere in the world, but especially not in Australia.
So do you think there will be many changes? Would you make many changes?
I think I'd make a few changes. I'd make blood a few new caps this coming summer. Make it more difficult for people to stay in and get out. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Crawley and whether he can score runs. He had one good innings in Australia. He is a class player, but I do feel that the era of Bazball may be over, and that I mean, the whole of the cricketing world has now started to score faster following England's lead, and I think the rest of them are caught up a bit.
So to end, can we win those Ashes back in 2027?
Well, in England with the Duke ball, I think there's every chance, but I think we've got some way to go. We need not only good fast bowlers, but we need to keep them fit. I mean, Archer didn't play in the last two tests. Wood only played in one. You know, if we get a fast bowler, we've got to make sure that he's bowling within what his body can take, because we seem to lose our fast bowlers to injury too often. And I know that's a difficult thing to say, especially as I come from a horse racing family where jump racing, where injuries are very prevalent. But I do feel that, there is, I mean, we need a batsman like Joe Root. I mean, Joe scored 2 centuries in this series, and it was wonderful for him to get his first century in Australia, and then he followed it up with a second one. He is class. He's a class batsman, and I think that Joe played it pretty well this year. And I mean, we need more. We need to find more batsmen like that. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Ben Duckett. He went to school with my children at Winchester House School. So I have an affinity with him. I followed him all the way through his years at Stowe and now into the England cricket team. But he does score fast, but he didn't get a big score on this series. And I think that he needs to have a good look at himself in the mirror and decide that getting 100 is a better option than getting 40 of 35 deliveries and then getting out. Who am I to say? I mean, if I had 100th of the skill of Ben Duckett as a batsman, I would be delighted. He is a tremendous cricketer. I'd hate to see him being one of the casualties, because I think he has an awful lot to give, but he needs to concentrate more on his cricket.
You must have been impressed, though, with Jacob Bethel in the Sydney Test.
Well, yes. I mean, for him to get his first-class 100 in a Test match at the Sydney Cricket Ground, that's pretty good on your CV. I think he is one for the future, yes. But he needs, it's consistency that wins games. It's all well and good getting 100 here and there. It is actually making sure your average is over 50 as a top order batsman for the England team, which will make the difference in the end. So consistency is the important word.
Well, thank you very much, Felix, for coming back on to the Paddock and the Pavilion.
Well, I feel rather embarrassed to have said that we would run them close, and it might be 3-2 to England or 3-2 to Australia. It's ended up being 4-1. It's a disappointment, but it's not the end of the world. And I feel that England will come back and we will win the Ashes again, both in this country and in Australia.